Ladies and gentlemen,
It's the Backyard Maker Show.
Backyard Maker Show.
We speak that realness.
Peace, ladies and gentlemen, our Interwebliens, good people, beautiful people. Welcome back to the show, man.
Pretty good.
We're on episode 11 today, man. We got a special guest today. We're gonna announce him in a minute, man. But I do want to announce we got a special host in the building today too. My son Ricky's back, man, to put in some work. He helped set up today. What's up, Bobby? How you doing?
Good.
You ready?
Yes.
Yeah, he's been amped to get on here and talk and stuff.
It feels excitement from here.
But X, man, what's up, man?
Chilling, man.
We're back,
not
we're
really
back.
chilling, but we're working, doing energy healing, what I mean, building the brand. I did a video.
I seen that, man. It got a lot of views too, man.
Yeah, we almost reached 1,000 so far, man. Like,
Yeah,
I'm excited. I'm like, oh wow, I didn't expect it to happen that fast, but I'm glad it did.
I'm excited for you, man.
And I was gonna film a commercial. Thank you. I was gonna film a commercial, like an official commercial for it, but like. That was just testing it out. I was like, let me just see what this would look like. I get a little tripod. I see the tripod. I was like, you know what? Let me bite that idea and then set up on the beach and it was a low tide or whatever, and it was perfect. I was like, okay, this is actually professional looking. People wouldn't even realize I filmed this with a phone. Yeah. And then the feedback was even better. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep doing this.
Yeah, visuals are real big when it comes to getting your stuff out there, man.
I see. I mean, wow, I had no idea.
I mean, word of mouth is always the biggest. You know what I mean? But visuals help
a lot. Yeah, I mean, a great deal.
Yeah,
because a lot of my clients were like, they had no idea what it would look like, but they would imagine what it would look like. They had an idea. So to actually see it, they were like, wow, I actually got to see it, and I didn't think it was that important. You know what I mean? But I think what happens is the creator oftentimes underestimates how important their creation is.
Absolutely. And then what? Just people seeing it and how you maneuvered and moved around and everything. Like some people didn't think you probably did that. They probably just thought I
just did this and then
put your hand on somebody's shoulder or some shit.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, but no, I'm glad you did that video, man.
Thanks,
definitely
man.
let them know where actually
Oh yeah, Facebook. Xavier. Regular Xavier. Soul with an X. XOUL. MUSIK. You know what I mean? That's how you find me. What am I talking about? I'm giving you my SoundCloud.
You can hear the music too.
Yeah, that's a SoundCloud if you want to find it. But it's Xavier Soul, same thing. Kemp, KEMP on Facebook.
And how about you got the Instagram too?
Instagram, yeah, same thing. Just check out Xavier Kemp. Miracle Healing Hotline on Instagram, or Sunu Xavier Kemp.
Cool.
Sunu, SUNU. That's an ancient Kemetic word for physician.
Cool, man. Yo, talking about ancient words, man. This was like 2 shows ago. You remember when you were talking about the yoni?
Yeah.
And I didn't know what it was, but Akil, our video guy, he's in India right now. And it's also an Indian word. So, he told me it came from there. And then another friend of mine, he hit me up. I got to look it up, but it's somewhere in the Middle East. I forget, but, it's a word that it's actually...
Interesting.
That's the
that
geographic
does sound,
area, so...
It does sound Indian when you hear yoni.
Yeah.
But Reiki, yoni. A lot of their words end with the E or the I, have like that kind of ending to it.
Yeah.
It's interesting that a lot of spiritual words and practices are coming from that region, resurfacing, these present years. And it's also interesting because a lot of it's an interesting fact. You guys check this out. A lot of the Indians, if you look at Indians from India, when I say Indians from India, because a lot of people call Native Americans Indians as well. Yeah, exactly. But Indians from India, if you look at their facial features, they look like Ethiopians. And there's a reason for that. There's a lot of migration. People are rarely where they're from. You know what I mean? They are rarely from where they're from. Most people have migrated from one region to another and have created another form of people and another form of people. So from all I know, and I've talked to a few Indians about this, and they've said they kind of like agreed, was that I think it's Britain. I want to say Britain owns in India. I could be wrong. But
I'm not sure.
Whichever country it was mixed with those people and created this new people that you see.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know. It's very interesting, just like America.
Well, yeah, they had the big war against Britain, so I think it is.
That
actually,
makes sense.
You know, like with Gandhi and all that, like when he had to go through all his
right.
stuff,
So they come through in the country and start
just
doing what they do.
Absolutely.
just like they did here.
Right, just like they did in every country.
They have a large Indian population over there in Britain. So
see, look at that.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yep.
That's perfect
Yeah.
sense. Then. Yeah. So you see, and then you look at the mix, and you even look how they talk and all that. You see the mixture of the two people. You know, it's very interesting.
Gotcha.
You know.
So, well, yo, man. I think without further ado, man, I want to bring up our guest, man. He's actually a good friend of mine, man. Known him for years. When I say years, I'm talking about years, like high school, maybe even middle school, man. But yo, man, he's a talented dude. I've worked with him not only in the club circuit, but we've also ran into each other on private gigs, you know, doing things like that. Please, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Mr. Billy, DJ Billy the Kid.
DJ Billy the Kid.
Welcome.
Thank you for that wonderful intro, man. Appreciate that, guys. Thanks for having me. Like we spoke, you know, in our prep, man. Just been really happy what you guys are doing. Ricardo knows that been supporting since day one.
Absolutely, man.
What you guys are doing is great. The way that the show's built, the way that, you know, it's structured.
Yeah.
Absolutely fell in love with it from jump, and
That's what's
I
up.
immediately called Ricardo like, "Yo, you got to get me on here," because he, you know, we've had our debates and stuff like that on social media, and you know, like he said, we go back. You know, it's just nothing but love with us at the end of the day, but just you know,
You need that.
Yeah, man.
positive discussion, and you know, there's nothing wrong with that, man.
Yeah,
So,
man. Thank you for coming, man. I'm glad we made it happen. I knew it was gonna happen eventually. So
yeah, that's right, man. We had a little bit of scheduling conflict there from last night, but it's all good.
it happens. man.
Word happens.
They can't stop us. You know what I mean? We'll keep it moving.
That's
man.
what's up.
But what's up with you, man? Like, what are you doing these days? I mean, obviously you're DJing, man. But like, what? I kind of just wanted to, you know, and let the people know. Besides the DJ stuff, because I want to get into that too. But like, how are you moving as
a person,
as
everyday
a
life?
person, everyday life when it comes to the DJ stuff? Like, basically, in other words, your personal life. How does that fit in around the DJ stuff? Because you know, it's a lot of late nights. You know, with me, I used to get in trouble from the girlfriend about stuff. The son used to want to see me at night, so you know, like I want to start with that, the nitty gritty.
I'm actually, that's interesting. I wasn't ready for that, but
Yeah, I know.
I got a lot to say on
Good
that.
question.
Curveballs.
Good question.
First of all, I gotta give credit to wifey. She's been supportive.
Oh yeah.
She's been great with this. Doesn't help. It also helps that good money comes in from this, so she's happy there. But
That always makes a difference.
the bills get paid. But
Key.
it starts with her, because the support. Without her, I wouldn't be able to be doing this. You know, when you don't have somebody who's behind you on this, and late nights, and there's a lot of, obviously, keep it 100. There's temptation. There's things.
It's everything.
There's also a lot of negativity that can come from this. You know, but I'm a father, husband. Just I've been able to make it work.
Yeah.
Just like I go out there and party and have fun with this stuff too. I'm home being a dad. I cut the grass on Saturday mornings. I'm getting up early. I'm being there for my kids. That's one of the hardest things to do, but you know, you know, my family comes first at the end of the day, and this DJ thing comes second.
And you've been making it work. How many years has it been now?
This summer, son Xavier, 18 years, man.
Wow.
Straight out of high school is when I started doing the club. Yeah.
Oh, even, I mean, I remember you DJing while we were in high school still, like, you know what I mean? Because I remember.
I was getting started. I was definitely getting started. But my first shot with nightclubs and it was right after.
But because I remember your dad, man. Your dad was a legend in the game too, man.
Yes.
Like, I mean, a lot of people, you know.
My pops was a band promoter for the Latin community, like for many years, and since I was a kid, I was around this. For those of you that follow DJ Stutter's podcast, the
TSD podcast.
Yes, absolutely. I told my story there.
Okay.
But you know, here I'll give you the shortened version. Pretty much was around that. College wasn't necessarily for me. I went to. I was always into audio and music and all that stuff. I actually am a graduate of the Institute of Audio Research in New York, and there's where I learned my live sound engineering and all that stuff. And I did that, and I did some touring with some people. And
Who'd you tour with?
I toured with John Legend. This is all New England tours. Who was the other person? Bruce Springsteen on the rock end.
Nice.
Got to meet a lot of people. Got to do some studio time with Maxwell back in the day.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah, and some other people that were,
Right.
not necessarily big, but
Had names.
yeah, had names in their local markets and things like that.
Nice.
And where was the most popular place you ever went to like DJ and stuff?
One of the biggest gigs I've had came within the last 5 years. I do New Year's Eve in Times Square.
Oh,
I've been doing that for 5 years. Got to connect with that. I'm in the thick
That's
of it.
big.
Yeah, that's pretty big. It's
That's a big one.
It's become a yearly thing for me now.
I know that check is like.
Listen, we're not complaining. We're not complaining, and I get to bring the wifey, so she's
Right, I know
she's
she
with
lit.
me. Yeah.
Happy.
But I mean, I'm in the thick of it. I'm seeing all these people out there. So
Right.
the energy there is incredible.
That's gotta be amazing.
The benefit of it is that I'm inside. I would never be outside in those cold days, man. Those people gotta give it up to them. But that's one of my biggest, definitely gigs that I've been around.
And congratulations, man. 'Cause I remember seeing that, and I'm like, wow, look at Billy, man. Like,
Yeah.
well deserved too, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I've put in my time.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Dues are, I pay my dues, and it's like I'm seeing the fruits of my labor, man. Because early on, it wasn't always like that. It was more for fun and for the pure love of it. But it's turned into something that I can almost say it's like a second career.
Answer your question. How do you personally, because everybody has their own way of doing this, how do you balance your position of power with sense of self and humility? And what I mean by that is, it takes for you to acknowledge what you're doing, to continue to do well. You don't want to lie to yourself like, oh, I'm just okay. Like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good at what I do. There's that part. And then everyone that's telling you that you're great on top of that, right? But then it gets to the point where your head could get big, and then you don't practice enough, and you might fall off, or you don't appreciate it enough, and then you don't require the amount of money that you're supposed to get for certain gigs, or you do stuff. You know what I mean? Like, how do you find your balance?
My balance pretty much comes from my beginnings, which I come from a humble. I'm from Norwalk, Connecticut, the CV, Colonial Village. Shout out to everybody. I mean, I didn't grow up with everything. And my parents, were always just, you got to stay humble. You got to stay humble. And then that's always stayed with me. It even goes back to my grandfather.
Billy's always been humble, man. Ever since I know him, man. Real humble dude.
I'm quiet. I don't necessarily. I'm not loud with it. I just.
So you feel like it's your childhood remembering your childhood, remembering how you grew up.
That's part of it.
That's what helps. So what's the other part? So the reason why I'm saying this is because, we're in the age where a lot of people are finding success in their endeavors, and things that they want to do.
Right.
And in this time period, seeing that, especially for people who had low self-esteem maybe most of their life, it can be dangerous and also can be empowering.
It can almost be like a drug. Absolutely.
Right.
You got somebody in your ear.
You have to be careful. You have to learn how to balance what you're hearing and how you feel about it versus, where it can go. You know what I mean?
One of the ways I think about that, for example, you have somebody, you're great, this, you're that, you're this. In my mind, there's always somebody better. There's always somebody that'll take your spot tomorrow. There's always somebody that's there to replace you. And you just, you're hot today, tomorrow that's one of my ways of thinking in just
Currency
life.
said something. What he said? He said, you could be I forget. I'll remember later. Go ahead, though. It's a line that came to mind. He was saying something like, you'll be a memory in a half a second or something like that.
I believe that.
It's true.
Yeah.
Absolutely believe that.
Especially in the nightlife industry, man.
There's so much turnover. It's from when I started, there's very few who've had the longevity that I've been, and I take that to be part of my humbleness. Not that I'm the most humble dude ever. I'm just saying, I keep to myself. I go do my job. I leave or get paid first, and then leave and do my thing, man. It's just I'm not out necessarily throwing shots at people or back. That game is just. These kids now are just, that's all it's about, and they want to undercut. Not even. Everybody's got a DJ now, a computer, and
right.
But definitely that quote that you said, you could be a memory tomorrow. That's what keeps me dry.
It could definitely be a memory tomorrow. So it's good to continue to work like you could be a memory tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, and I was telling my wife that I was like, yo, there's a period of time like social media goes in waves for me. So sometimes it'll be popping. And I'm like, yo, babe, look, it's popping, right? And then she'll be like, yo, it's popping, that is. But in my mind, I'm like, yo, but still, like tomorrow, they could all forget about this.
Yeah.
Like literally tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like the next day, people be moved on to the next thing.
Isn't that what happens with social issues every day?
Right.
Yeah.
Like it happens with people, like serious things, people dying and getting the school shootings and explosions. So, you know, me healing somebody is not going to always be the thing that's lasting in somebody's mind, you know. And I'm like, I had to remember that, like, wow. So now, let's talk about that. Let's kind of dive into that, a little deep dive. Social media and marketing and putting yourself out there and letting yourself be known and making your presence be known, right? So in our days, it was a little weird. Like, so for you, it's a little different now because you grew up in the age of the internet.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You grew up in the age where you kind of have to be in people's faces to be recognized. You kind of have to be present online more than you are in real life for people to remember you. You know what I mean? Where in our day, it was like you paid your dues, you did what you did, and then you know people talked about you if they talked about you, but you didn't do too much because if you did too much, then it was kind of like, look, that's like you're doing too much, and then like people were like not rock with you because you're doing too much, or you know what I mean. But now it's like you have to almost do a little bit too much, or more than you would have done before, just to keep yourself in the eye of people, or at least pay somebody to keep you in front of people. You know what I mean? If you're gonna, you know what I mean? If you don't want to be online, someone else has to keep you online. So how do you now redefine what humble means in that area?
That's a very good question. I mean, damn, it's everybody's such a social media whore these days. That
and it's
just
so
like,
saturated that.
Right.
Yeah, it's. I mean, the whole concept. I'm sorry, if you don't have followers, you're not popping. That to me just is. I know so many people, but because I don't have 300,000 followers, and people actually feed into this crap.
Right.
It's
well, see, this is the reason you made your. Go ahead, Ricardo. Go ahead.
I was just like, people actually pay for followers.
Yeah.
Right.
That shit is so corny and whack to me, man.
I'm gonna tell you why though.
Yo.
So here's the thing. This is why we're talking about this. We unboxing this. We grow up in different eras, right? So now, how we grew up, it's mad corny to pay for that. You know what I mean? Like it's mad corny to pay for like record plays or payola, so on and so forth, right? Because we grew up in an age where it was a different way in how you go about it.
Yeah.
Now, right? Let's say if now we were to try to go about it the way we used to go about it. Like, all right, I'm about to pass my demo out to, or I'm about to send my demo out. Like, you know, you're really not going to get far, you know, doing
those
that.
days are long.
You know, those days are the long gone. So you kind of have to update how you move. But it could be perceived like you're doing too much, like, because you are literally having to spam yourself a little bit so that people can see. I'm getting used to that myself, you know? Like, wait, this is what I have to do to make sure I'm on your mind. Wow. You know, so it almost, for me, it's a personal opinion kind of thing. Now it's almost a thing where you, like, if you really want to be seen, like, all right, followers translate into money for people now.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So if I have 100,000 followers, maybe 25% of those followers may buy something from me.
Yeah.
Now that can sustain me for a period of time, and I can invest in another business and do the same thing. So on a business level, it kind of makes sense because you are now turning yourself into a corporation.
You can monetize it, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely, you play your cards right.
Right. If you play cards right, that's
on the personal level. Like on the, you know, what does that mean? You got 1.5 million followers or whatever. Unless you're a celebrity, I get it. But if you're not,
it doesn't
you
mean anything.
either bought them or, and I'm not throwing shade at anybody. God bless you. That's what you want to do. Hey, whatever.
That shit is whack. That shit is whack.
I agree, but I'm not gonna. I'm not the one to tell you.
Yo, I'm telling you, that shit is whack.
He's doubling down. That's completely cool. But I'm one of those to each their own. If that's how you want to live it, that's fine. But it is corny.
Yeah.
It is.
And you know what? It's tough too because some of those, they're just like, it's bots. It's just, you got to watch. If you're going to buy from a certain company, you really got to spend some dough because a lot of those cheap companies, because I've read on it, you know what I'm saying? Because I almost wanted to do it for the company pages. Right. My personal pages, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
But company, you know, but when I'm like, you're reading about it, it's like, yo, you're getting bots. People who, it's
not even real people.
It's not real people. So
AI.
So you're getting, I want to interact with my people. I want people to interact with me. So I don't want no no
a
bots.
fake.
I agree with you. I mean,
you gotta
especially for my DJ IG page, I want you to see that. I want to promote myself. I don't just do the nightclub business. I do private events as well.
Right.
I want to get my name out to people.
But that's where it gets a little crazy. Did you guys hear about how there was a study saying people that take selfies are kind of crazy or insane? Did you guys see that one?
I've seen that.
I glanced at it.
Self-absorbed or something like that.
Yeah, I glanced
so that
at
kind of comes with, like, you know, like you were saying earlier, like people are getting all these likes and stuff. So does that make you a better person? Does that make you you know?
But here's the thing, on a psychological level, watch this, right? The fact I could go on a device in my pocket,
Yes.
take a picture of myself, get thousands of people to see it, and then at a certain point I can go live and maybe get a few hundred people to watch me. Like, it's almost like there's a few hundred people in this room watching me talk. You know what I mean? For some people, that's a high, and also it helps them to feel good about themselves. They don't normally feel good about themselves.
Very sad.
Right. Now here's the thing. That's something else we need to address. Okay? Mental illness. Mental illness is unaddressed primarily in most of the world. So people who don't feel good about themselves find ways to feel good about themselves. And this is probably one of the biggest ways that people are doing that. You know, and if it's not going to be that, then it's going to be them bullying somebody or them taking advantage of someone or just being depressed and popping pills and then having nothing. You know what I mean? So the internet has been a way for people to shape who they want to be, even if they're not that, and get people to respond to it. And then that makes it true for them. It's almost like fake it till you make it.
Pretty much.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And then they either become that person or they're fake. They're fake that person. You understand what I mean? Like,
how
one
many
or the
people
other.
you know, and everybody knows somebody who you know they're going through struggles, but 2 minutes later you look at them and they're posting, they're having the best time of their lives. I'm like, yo,
It's the fake. It's
I
to make
thought you
them,
was just okay. You know,
it's to make them
how
feel
many?
different.
If
All
we
the
know
time.
them, it's more than everybody's just you know
But-
stunting on social media. This is one of those things that they've come to do, and the fact that you need those likes or whatever to make yourself good, it's like a drug to them, and it's sad, man. I mean, that's
like a condition of the world.
It's
right
like
now.
a validation for them or something.
you need a society to validate you by likes. How about have them validate you because you're actually a good person, because you know you're a cool person
But
to be
here's
around.
the thing about that, right? How, like, all right, so boom. The way the world is, I know that they'll like a picture if it looks nice. But if I put a good deed up, they might not pay any attention to that, and that makes me feel worse about what it is that I did if I was doing that for validation. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So now, I would honestly, it's more safe for you to put a picture up than to and expect attention from that, than to put up something that you're doing well and doing good at and expect attention from that, because you'll start to get depressed seeing that the world doesn't really care too much about your good deeds more than they care about how good you do. You know what I mean? It's just, this is the conditioning of the world that we're in. I look at everything that we see, all the dysfunctions and things that we have, as mirrors. They're all little reflections of what the real problems are. Again, like I spoke about, mental illness is highly unaddressed. You know what I mean? So this is why somebody would feel that I would need or would require a stranger to validate my existence on any level. You know what I mean? Because I can't validate my own existence on any level. I can't make myself feel good. You know? So someone else feeling good about me is going to make me maybe feel good about myself. It's almost like for certain people, it's a way for them to shift how they feel about themselves.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like almost like tricking themselves. Like, I'm going to trick myself to feel good.
There's a lot of disturbing stuff that's happened because of, like, yo, you guys heard about it, like people like committing suicide right on
social
Facebook
media.
Live.
That's deep.
Hanging themselves.
That's deep.
That's
That's
crazy.
deep.
It I almost tie that to some, certain people that actually wonder how many people will show up to like their funeral or things like that.
Yeah,
where people, you're never gonna know because you're dead. So
But think about the mind that it takes to think like that.
there's people who actually
deep.
think like this.
That's
And
deep.
it's just,
deep.
it's actually disturbing.
It's heavy. The amount of validation they need from other people is on a high level. So high that in my afterlife, I want you to pay attention to me. You understand me? Like, that's heavy.
That's some other level stuff, man.
But a lot of people deal with it.
Yeah, it's true.
It's a broad stroke. I'm telling you, a lot of people deal with these things. It's more common than you expect.
You got people doing this live. That's I could tie that to that same mentality. But now you want people to watch you take your life, which Hey,
That's heavy.
And it's very disturbing, man. And it speaks volumes of where our society is today,
it's
man.
warped,
yo,
man.
It's like a perversion. You know what I'm saying? In a way, man. Like
Somebody's playing with these strings, you know.
yeah.
Got us.
And like we spoke about last show, man. I don't know if you got to listen to last show, Billy, but we were talking about how energy, certain people throw out certain energy for certain reasons, good and bad. And there's people out there throwing out bad.
That
and
wild bad energy. Yeah,
You know what
it's
I'm
sticking
saying?
to some of these people, man.
And do you remember when that guy on Facebook Live killed like over 13 people?
Oh yeah, I remember
because
that.
because of something happened with him and his wife or something. And
It was
he
a
killed
black
that-
dude, right?
Yeah, he killed his old.
yeah,
old man.
Yep.
And he had it
He
on
was driving
Facebook
around.
Live.
Where was that? That was
It was
that
in
Chicago?
like no
Or-
I don't
Pennsylvania.
remember
I
where it
think.
was at.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
kind of close.
And then he drove up to like somewhere.
a mountain or something. Yeah, I forgot where it
I
was.
think I
at.
remember this story. Yeah.
I know who you're talking about though. Yeah, he went up to that old man and just shot him cold blood right in
Yup,
the
right
head.
on the
Oh,
camera.
okay,
On the
yes,
sidewalk.
yes,
Right on
yes,
the
yes.
camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
That
yo,
was-
but for like that tells you right there. Like,
Yeah.
yo,
I mean, so imagine the things that, excuse me, people are not talking about that they're dealing with.
yeah,
Like, think about how open the world is and how many things we do talk about. But most of what's really going on is not being even talked about or mentioned at all on any level. And you would have to read their body language or be around them to know.
and that's even scarier, man.
Yes.
Yes.
Just like you said, I think it was last show too, man. How you have hundreds of people that live in a condo, man. You don't know what everybody's doing in that one box that
Right.
they live in, man.
Yeah, everybody
you
live
don't
in a
know.
box.
You don't know your neighbor. Your neighbor could be Jeffrey Dahmer. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
For all you know. You know what I'm
And
saying?
smiling
No-
at you every
no
morning,
idea.
man.
Yeah,
no
That's
clue.
That's
scary
scary
shit.
stuff.
The weird part about it is we live in Connecticut. So for those across the world, I need you to understand, like, East Coast, all right, the East Coast is very different from most places, being that it's very congested and people are living in boxes up on top of each other. It's literally everybody's living in a box with a window to look out to the world. Everybody lives in a box. Everybody goes to work, you go home into a box. In other regions of the world, people are outside a period of time of their day, or they may be walking or traveling, or they have different cultures and different traditions. But here, most of Connecticut, people go work and they go home. They go to work and they go home. There's whole cities, whole towns in Connecticut where people don't know who is who or what or whatever, because people don't talk to each other.
Who
Because they just
talks
go
to their
work and
neighbor
go home.
anymore?
Right.
Yeah.
Because of many reasons. Now think about the many things that are going on. See, that wall does not separate the energy that is going on in that whole place. You see what I'm saying? So if somebody's getting raped next door, that energy is also affecting everybody else around. You get what I mean?
Those vibes
And
getting
those
put out
vibes
there.
are getting put out.
Yeah.
And now that's happening on a mass level. Now think about New York. You know, it's millions on top of millions on top of millions of people that are all going through, like, barely making it day to day with that going, and then the stress of their that's a lot.
That rat race is another. That's
That's
a
a
whole.
whole nother ball game.
That
New
energy.
York.
New York is just, to me, from what I see, my opinion, is just nothing but anger.
Yeah,
everywhere.
anger and
Everybody's in a
frustration
rush.
and
Get somewhere. I gotta get here. The anxiety and
anxiety.
the anger. And
It's a anxiety.
that vibe is definitely in that city,
Yes.
That's
and
something
in
else.
major cities, because
Right.
everybody's in a rush to go where. You know,
Right.
it's
to meet a deadline of this place, that place. Now let's add this into the mix, right? Most people are medicated. By teenagers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? By 13, by 12, sometimes earlier. Especially if you got enough money, if your family got enough money, if anything at all, to even be in New York. Most of these people are like born with money. You know what I'm saying? And if you're not, you come into money, then you come into being able to have access to these doctors and these therapists, and they need pill popping eventually, because you have things that you have to take care of mentally to even work properly in your field. You know what I mean? So people who have like high stress jobs that going to college for mad years and they got a high paying job at New York, there's a lot of pressure. You might think they got a lot of money, but they're that pressure. So a lot of them they're not right unless they're taking Ritalin. They're not right unless they're taking these different drugs. And these drugs, believe it or not, are chemically very similar to street drugs. I think Ritalin is like almost damn near identical to meth or something like that. I could be mistaken the drugs, but one of those drugs is
I wouldn't doubt it.
chemically identical to meth. So let's consider that. If these are the drugs if these are the only things that are keeping people stable, mental illness is pretty much across the board.
Yeah.
Everybody's dealing with mental illness. I smoke weed every day, okay? And that is for my anxiety, because I'm always working and healing other people, and it's a lot of information to take, and it's a lot of things to take in. So for shamans or people who are on spiritual paths, a lot of us smoke, and it helps us with what we do. So everybody has the different reasons. It used to be because of mental illness, though. It used to be because of depression. It used to be because, I was just feeling a way about my life and they didn't know how to handle it, and it just helped me to cope with certain things. But now I'm not using it for those same reasons. So imagine a person that's not a healer
taking it on that. I gotcha. Definitely. Yeah, that can be a lot.
I just had to say that, I know that was a lot, but yeah, like imagine a person that's not a healer.
And that's what's going on, bro. That's what's going on
across the board.
Crazy. Like we, again, I keep bringing up old shows, but we've spoken about it. But the whole drug industry, Medicare, and all that shit, that shit's all a scam, bro. You know what I mean? It's all, they're trying to make the dollars. The more people that they misdiagnose, because that's what they do with, with a lot of stuff. They misdiagnose people, and it's all profit. You know what I'm saying?
Misdiagnose, but to me, it goes deeper than that. What they're feeding us to keep us safe.
Air, the water.
You could chase that trail back to, the pharmaceutical companies don't want healthy people.
No, they don't make money. That stops business.
Cures don't bring in cash, man.
Ricardo, we've been making that point for a while.
What is it that they stop selling me the medicine when you got the cure?
That we could talk about that. You could talk about that every episode because there's different branches to where that can lead, and it's just
right.
And
I think even though this is like obvious to us, these are ideas that other people still haven't. Some people, there's still people, a percentage of the world, small percentage of the world, I feel at this point, that hasn't really caught on to those things, these ideas yet.
And a lot of people dislike that term woke, but there's a lot of people who aren't woke and just walking around like zombies, man, and just being part of this design, because in my opinion, that's what it is. And Ricardo, you post a lot of stuff. Yeah, I agree with a lot of that stuff, and you see, I do a lot of that kind of stuff too. And I believe you hate the term too, conspiracy theorists or whatever, but it makes it just another word to make somebody sound crazy when they're not talking about it. There's definitely things that.
Speaking of that, all right, so I'm gonna take it to music, but I'm gonna bring in some of what we were talking about in with the music.
Okay.
So since you've been DJing for 18 years, the year 2000. So for me, year 2000, music shifted dramatically. Like, wait, what is this? Is this the same? Yeah, it was like a big shift. So for those who may not, on a technical level, just to show you just how much the music might have shifted, or did shift, not just the sound. 90s people were sampling from records. They were using vinyl records, and how vinyl records is read is through a needle, and that needle, if I'm not mistaken, has like diamonds on it, right? So it's being read by stone, these crystals, sort of like what I have in my hand. The information is being read by literal stones and being fed to your ears, and that's why it has that feeling. That vinyl has that feeling that it does, and this is also why hip hop had the feeling that it did in the 90s, because a lot of the things were being sampled from records that way. Okay, so that's one. Year 2000s, and the 2000s come in. You have I want to say DMX's second album or so came out around that time, right?
DMX, I want to say first album was around 98.
He dropped 2 albums in 1 year, so he dropped. Yeah, it was 90. It was like 98.
It was like 98.
I'm pretty good with my
years. All right, what dropped in 2000? Like round the cusp of 99, 2000. I know Busta did, but then who else?
2000?
2000. I know it was Talib. It was 50, and it was who else?
50 came out it was 03, 02.
Right. It was isn't it hard to even remember?
A little bit, yeah.
Ooh, what happened?
It starts to get a little fuzzy.
Right, it gets real fuzzy at that period of time. So now, as you gradually go on, you realize, then the Neptunes came out around shortly after, right?
Yeah, that was around 2000, 2001. Yeah.
Now, that's a great example. Cool. I just wanted to use at least one example, concrete example. So now we went from sampling from that kind of sound to now more synthetic sounds. I remember the Motif,
the beat machines and all that.
The Motif keyboard came out with all those synthetic sounds. A lot of people was like, well, I don't need the sample. I can just play all the sounds out and make it sound like I sampled it. So I remember now, I would go around producers. Everybody got the keyboard now, busting out the melodies off the keyboard and then being Swiss Beats with it. You know what I mean? Everybody's going Swiss Beats. If you guys don't know, he didn't really sample. He just used a lot of keyboards and his same sounds of drums. Yeah. So the sound started changing dramatically. I remember 50 Cent album came out. I don't even really remember if they sampled. I think it sampled a couple things, but it wasn't a lot. You know what I mean? Sampling started to kind of die out, and it was more like people playing the stuff out. You know, your Neo came out with becoming R&B. Like everybody was just playing. It became more musical. Okay, so then the sounds changed. So now for you, what I want to ask you is this: what did you notice around that era? Like, what was it like for you as a DJ coming into hip hop at an era where it changed so dramatically from what you were raised on?
All right. So when I was raised, I wasn't going to clubs like that. So I started at that point where you're talking about where this change occurred. I can't say I noticed a change in the people, but this is what I thought it was to be. So as far as the music though, just obviously, I want to say that was the start, and especially in the hip hop, urban stuff, where, you know, those old school 90 R&B hits that started to disappear. The hip hop had changed. Now we're talking Ludacris. We're talking
That's right.
Nelly,
which it became more commercial. It wasn't so urban in that old school feeling that, you know, Biggie gave us, Craig Mack, Wu-Tang, not to just to name a few, but so it was definitely different. I felt more like it definitely got more commercial.
Absolutely.
And then from there, just deteriorating. Like
something just hit me like a brick just now. Wow, I didn't even realize it until this moment. Just this moment that we're talking now. What the East Coast went through when hip hop hit the East Coast, the same thing happened when hip hop hit on a major level in the South in the year 2000. Where you know what I mean? Like
it shifted. It shifted down there. Juveniles and all that.
There was not just that. We all know it shifted, but it was like, you know how it was a big commercialization of hip hop from the East Coast when it started. Like it was like a good 4 or 5 years, and where it was just kind of underground. It was but then when the company started getting involved and it got commercialized crazy, and then that same thing happened to Atlanta in the South, where music's been popping down south. I used to live in Mississippi, you know what I mean? Like, so the music trade was big. You know, people just were selling their own music. They didn't need major labels, had independent labels. People basically took drug money and cleaned it up. You know what I'm saying? Through the
that happens labels. A lot, man.
Right? That's basically what it was. But in case you guys didn't know, that's kind of how a lot of the labels got started, especially in the South. You know what I'm saying? Like, just took drug money, cleaned it up, boom, and it's no secret. Like, it's no secret. Like, Jay-Z talks about it. Like, he talked about his whole first album. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? It's no secret. Reasonable Doubt. Like, go check it out if you guys are wondering about that, as you know, the audience. But so then the South, we had our own music culture. But then when like No Limit and Outkast and all these people began to, well, Outkast was like more than nice, but like the year 2000, the year 2000 success was like Atlanta stuff. That was Atlanta all day. Like, No Limit had the 90s. Cash Money sort of had like going into the 2000s. You know what I mean? And as you see, No Limit was more like grungy, like, oh, I'll kill you, you know, like love, like hip, like Pain and selling crack, all that. Cash Money was like diamonds. Diamonds, money, diamonds, money, diamonds, money, diamonds. You know what I'm saying?
Created that Lil Wayne era, man.
But it's so interesting how everything shifted so dramatically from one spectrum.
Well, like we said earlier, man, somebody's out there throwing the energy the way they want to use it. You know what I mean?
And it shows, man. It's just, I'll take it back to, you said what changed. I can't really tell you what changed, obviously, but just the energy in records and the way they transfer it to people. That's why I believe in this nightclub industry, or as a DJ, I believe in what they call emotional response. You drop a record and that crowd goes nuts.
Right.
You feed off of that.
Yeah.
You're playing better. You're coming harder. You're like that's just a great feel. It's almost like an adrenaline rush when you drop that record and you get that energy, that burst. You can't put it into words.
I know what you mean.
But anybody who's been at a club, you know when you're around people and that record drops and that feeling is like any other. I mean all DJs could tell you that. It's just a good feeling. It doesn't matter what kind of skill level you're at. When you do, anybody's capable of doing that, because it's just when the energy in the room is right,
it just happens.
Yeah, and that's just people vibing together. That's you would know about all that stuff. All these energies just coming together.
The synchronicity of everybody liking something all at the same moment does something.
It does. It really does something. That's why.
Did that continue throughout your, like, you know what I mean, like throughout the years of you DJing?
Yeah, I get it to this day.
Not particularly just for you, but music. You know what I'm saying? Like, have you noticed the emotional reaction to music change or shift throughout the years?
Absolutely, but more in a negative tone because of the way that in my these artists are just not bringing quality stuff anymore. And I don't even got to bring that up to Ricardo. That look just says it all. And it just now it's almost feeling like it's zombies out there and listening to whatever they're being spoon fed. And I know you had this conversation back when you had Stutters on. Shout out to Stutters, by the way.
Yes, sir.
The responsibility that DJs hold and releasing records or playing the spoon fed crap. And we're all guilty of it, but it's one of those things where like we're put in a box.
Catch 22. Right.
Yeah, like am I dropping a record that nobody knows? People are gonna look at me like
what are you doing?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And that's where.
But that's what the DJ. Not to cut you off. That's what the DJ culture used to be.
Right. Absolutely, dropping that record, breaking records.
And then it shifted to what it is now.
Nobody's breaking records. To me, the onus is more on those more popular DJs to do that.
Yeah.
They're the ones who have that mass audience in these radio waves. But
It's true.
They're being programmed to say this is the guy we're gonna make hot. Because he's got tattoos on his face. I'm not,
I ain't gonna lie. The only DJ I know that's still doing this is Peter Rosenberg from Hot 97. He does these late night shows where he have these underground rappers, and he'll have them. He'll play stuff that I've never heard in my life, and he does it almost like every other. I don't remember what he does. He does it. He's been doing it consistently for years. Well, on Hot 97, he'll just be playing people that I find out later. You know what I mean? Like, who was that?
Yeah, they've had shows like that throughout the years where, I forget what it used to be called, man.
They're a dying breed, though.
Yeah.
It's,
they're turning into podcasts or Sirius FM. And
it's
Sirius
unfortunate.
does this sometimes, too. Yeah. Sirius, actually, they have, shout out to DJ K. Slay. He has a show where he, like, breaks a lot of street records. And... Excuse me. I actually like that show because he plays some shit.
K. Slate's been doing that, man.
He plays some shit. I'd be like, oh my god. So I feel like, but even then, we're in an era like you can get played on the radio. It don't mean shit. You know what I'm
absolutely.
saying? Like,
and this industry is just fabricating artists now. They're just saying we're gonna turn you into this person and this is what you're gonna be.
Right.
I'm almost lost train where I was going with, but. Yeah, they're just trying to force us with this is the guy and you're gonna play this record 80 times a day and it's just how many times have you listen to a song and say it's whack, 2 weeks later you're loving the goddamn track because it just is it's putting it in your brain and you listen to it enough times, this is what it's gonna be.
Right.
And it's just and social media has a lot to do with this. How many artists from in all kind of genres of music back in the 50s, 60s, you didn't know what they necessarily looked like. You actually heard talent, singers, that necessarily weren't that cookie cutter look. Now it's you got to look good, you got to look a certain way, you got to do this because people they're associating you visually with the music and videos change that obviously. But back in the day, how many people can you say weren't that image? Yeah. But we're talented.
I mean, everything was just so different, man. The talent, the quality of music, the production, the beats, the bands.
Yeah.
Now it's like people were playing with pride. Now it's just like, let's make that dollar. Let's make that next dollar.
Zombies,
that's where to me that's where a lot of
you don't move your feet, then I don't eat. So we like neck to neck.
Yeah.
That's Andre 3000. Yes, son, you want to say?
I seen a post on Instagram, right? So they're seeing how, like old school cats like Eminem, Biggie, Nas, and Tupac, how they freestyled, and then they compared it to like Lil Yachty, Lil Uzi, stuff like that, Lil Pump, and
big difference.
Yes, big difference.
I tell you that. I tell you that a lot. I show you. I do my thing, man. I got to school him, man.
I know you do, man. No, you got a young man here that's bright, man. I gotta get you there.
Yeah.
But these kids are. The influence they hold though is just mind-boggling.
Yeah.
And these are the kids that they're putting out there and they're selling stuff to you. Now that everybody. Now you're not just a rap artist. You sell clothes. You sell sneakers.
Everything.
Yeah. And this is what's shaping our young minds in this country and the world. And it's just like.
And that's the road they.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Thing, I feel like that the ideas that shape people to do things that ain't healthy for them has always existed, right? It's just now we're in a place where we can like mass produce these ideas and broadcast them to millions of people at a time because you know technology. You know what I mean? Technology makes the biggest difference. But what I realize is this: in the face of all of the things that are causing the problems, people are finding solutions still. I find that interesting. That as crazy as this world is that we're living in, we still are able to like find ways around what's going on. You know, I remember just throughout growing up how we would hear so much about the end of the world, end of the world, end of the world is coming, end of the world, end of the world. And then you would see signs of like, damn, this shit might just end tomorrow. Like, I don't know, like, yo, this shit is getting crazy. I mean, especially when you go through the whole conspiracy theory period. You know, you're like, shit, I don't know how long this is really gonna last. You know what I mean? Because you see what we're really facing, what we're really up against. You know what I mean? So with that, when you see how much we're up against, and you see that we're still here, right? We're still moving. A lot of us still elevating, actually growing in who we are as people. Though the world seems like it's dying, it makes you wonder, like, well, who is for us? There's something that's for us too. You know, it has to be. You know, if this is this much against us,
somebody's got to be
something's for us. And regardless of what you want to call it or who you want to call it. Some people are going to say the aliens, some people are going to say it's God, some people are going to say it's ancestors. Whatever it is, you know, there's a very real thing that's keeping somebody from pressing the nuclear button.
And X, not to cut you off, but have you heard of like Planet X coming to?
Right, Nibiru was supposed to be here like 2012. You know what I'm saying? Like. Oh, it's circling around the sun. It's close. Yeah. Like, yo, if you look in the sky, you can see it. You know what I mean? Like, it was, that gravitational pull was supposed to fuck this planet up a long time ago. Exactly. You know what I mean? Exactly. So now, I'm just looking at it like there's a lot of good that's happening that we just do not know how to identify.
Not identify and not promoted, not shown, not, you know, what do you turn on the news? What do you see? It's negativity on top of negativity.
Right. It's clouded. It's hidden. It's
hidden. It's identified.
I agree with you that it's still there. As good as out there, obviously. It's just, definitely. You know, it's being very, very,
it's suppressed.
Suppressed.
And you have to like almost look for it in order to find it type thing. You know what I mean? Like what we and Beatrice was talking about. We were like, oh, this is like Infinity Wars. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? This is like some real Marvel shit. You know what I mean? That of what our fields are. You know what I mean? Of like shifting lives and changing lives. So in being in this world, you see like there's way more beyond the veil, you know, than what is in front of us, and it's so much. It's a deep subject matter.
No, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? How deep do you want to get here now? So, like, you know, I'll get a little deeper with it. Like, over, I don't know, when you mentioned technology and how it's affecting, put our, you know, humanity in a timeline. Let's just say the last 200 years. You know, you had industrial revolutions and things like that, the growth of economy. But within these last 50 years, the amount of technology that has something happened.
Think about introduced.
That. How many hundreds of years have we been, you know, just living life on horses and cattle and this, and then all of a sudden you got this one where it just expanded beyond anybody's imagination. I should get closer to the mic, but you know, if you really break that down, what happened?
What happened? Right.
Something.
Yeah.
Stuff got introduced. You know, reintroduced, so to say, because then you go back to ancient cultures. A lot of this technology already existed.
Yeah.
In a better form. So it's almost like there's this information being reintroduced to certain parts of civilization, so to say, or certain elite or rulers or whatever, however you want.
Or just let go, period. Like, they've had it for a long time and they're just letting it go now.
Go at certain points.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Timing is real big with everything.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I mean?
Whatever it is.
And how do we know, like, what year we're in, like, right now?
This is fact.
Yeah.
We can't even be in 2018. We could be in, like,
we're definitely not in 2018.
4 quadrillion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're just going off by what somebody told us.
Yeah.
You know, that's all we're doing.
Right. It might be 2018 years since an invasion. You know what I mean? Like, you think about it like that. Like, what are they really keeping record of? Right. 2018 years of what?
Of what?
Yeah.
Right. Because normally, like, they would say they're like, you know, before Christ, after Christ, but that's more religion oriented, right?
Yeah.
So if you scratch religion, right? What are they really accounting for with the time? You know,
and it's bugged out, man. You know, what you saying that kind of clicked in my head real quick. Did you know that our country is one of the like almost only countries that turns back the clocks and turns the clock forward and shit like that. Because when I'm in Costa Rica with my family, when I first told them about that, they're like, "What the fuck is this shit?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm sure in Colombia and every,
Same thing.
Right,
They're
right.
like, well,
so that's odd, yo. Like,
Yeah, it is odd,
and that got me kind of thinking. You know, when I was younger, what Rick just said, like, yo, what do we know when did they start the calendar? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When did they start the clock? Like right now it says 1:12 in the morning, bro, but you know,
ain't no telling, right?
We don't know. It don't exist. The shit don't exist.
well, time is not linear. We just perceive
Right,
it that
we
way.
perceive
Yeah,
it,
because we've
right.
been. That's what we've been.
That's
Looking at
the
it,
programmed
right.
to think.
Programmed.
It's a big
Since day
program.
one that they were born.
That's a
Time is
big,
not
big
linear.
program.
It's just perceived in that form, and just it's one of those things that in my opinion, part of the design.
Yeah.
You're being told that it's 2 o'clock.
So then you see
Just
it.
you know, it's just like they're playing games with us. That we're taught to believe that dollar's worth actually something, and it's a piece of paper that. You know, we
like a pass.
It's a pass that, you know, we put a value on fake paper, and okay, this is what it's worth, and we think it's actually worth something. One day, it's going to be just a piece of paper. I truly believe that.
And it's, you know what? I think it's because they need to keep our minds occupied. They need to keep our minds occupied with that. They need to keep our minds occupied with sports.
And also need to
You know
be able
what I'm
to
saying?
predict our movements.
Yeah.
And our actions.
Yeah,
and you
absolutely.
can do that if you have time.
They, you know, they want the 9 to 5. Wake up, go to work, eat your lunch, go home, eat dinner, go to sleep. Do it all over again.
Obedient workers. That's what they want.
Yeah, that's what they want.
Y'all need to watch They Live. That's what gets your mind going and how you've been obeyed and stuff like that.
You need to watch They Live. What
No,
you mean?
I did.
Who put you on? Who put you on? Who put you on?
Obviously.
All right,
You.
Billy, have you seen They Live yet?
I have not. I'll check that
yeah,
out.
Check
gotta
that
watch
out.
They Live, man.
Yeah,
They
that's
Live is great. They Live is
that's from like I think it's a flick from 1981 with Roddy Piper. I don't know if you ever saw it with the shades. And the I dropped a shirt. I don't know if like
I got to check it out. No,
yo,
I'm not familiar with it.
Really,
the messages and that
really
shit.
good movie.
You'll like it a lot, bro. Definitely catch it.
I another thing for me, I honestly believe Hollywood mocks us, man. They know something because these movies that
This
they come up
movie
with.
would tell you that they know something or more than like
No, but-
any other movie.
I gotta watch it definitely,
Yeah.
but like think about
Sheesh, man.
I still need to watch
and
it.
I know I sound crazy to whoever's listening and stuff like that. Think about, for example, the Terminator.
Oh, you already
You know,
know.
and how they had the flying
Ships.
the we got now the drones and all that kind of stuff and
AI.
Hoverboards.
AI.
they was on
It was already on it. Google.
What
Google is motherfucking what was Skynet. You know what I'm saying?
that's my next one. Who's Skynet?
Google or Amazon?
IBM.
One or the
At one
other.
point, I thought it was gonna be
Right. I think it's Google or Amazon or both. You know what I mean?
Who's gonna turn out to be that company?
One
Right.
of them. I guarantee you. I feel like it's gonna be one of them.
And
Two, and
there's
they just
how many
gonna
more
join
movies?
together.
How many more movies can you think that have put that stuff out there, and you're like, wow, this stuff is real. It's almost like they know something. They mocking
do.
us and they playing with us to see, like, oh, it's just a movie.
That's a rabbit hole. You want me to dive into the rabbit hole?
No, let's do it. And
All
you know
right,
what?
bet.
Real quick, I remember reading somewhere, man, when I was studying all that stuff, and this was years ago, that the time frame could have changed, but they say something like, they'll put it in a movie, and then 7 years later they'll drop it on us. You know what I'm saying? And I remember in the Matrix when they had that phone that
Yep,
slid,
and then it's the shit
and then like
came
a
out.
few years later that shit
shit
came
was
out,
dead.
and then when that shit, that's when I really started paying attention and like, like,
Something's
Yeah.
something with this. Right?
they call it engineered by design. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, they need to keep us busy for a reason. Tell us what to do. With the whole tax
Predictive
shit.
programming.
Yeah, that's why they need to silence people if people are speaking out, like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and the Young Lords Party.
That's a
and,
given.
You know what I mean? If you're speaking out, man, you're gonna get silenced one way or the other, or they're gonna kill your character. You know what I'm saying?
Kill your
And
character.
it has to do with the whole rabbit hole, and you can take it from there. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, man. Okay. I'll start here and go there. Simpsons. The Simpsons predicted mad
Apparently so, yeah, right?
shit, right? All right. So now you got to ask yourself, how logically are they able to predict stuff with such detail to the point? Trump, when he was coming down the escalator, did y'all remember that?
Yeah.
There's a sign that drops in the background by one of the people in the cartoon, and in real life, the sign drops the same way. Okay, so this the amount of detail.
Yeah.
It just messes up my head. Like,
Okay, we just had to address that first. The detail is uncanny.
Yeah.
I agree.
And
Go ahead.
So my whole thing with that is, this is what I feel with the whole Simpsons thing. At first I was like, oh, they're nailing a few on the head. But now it's, to me, now it's like, yo, that's one of their programs.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's a lot that they have, but that's just one where they're just like,
He's like, yeah, I don't.
They're not even hiding it
yeah,
anymore.
it's a cartoon. These motherfuckers ain't gonna, think it's real.
There's a reason for that, though. This
Yeah,
is what I want to
exactly.
get to
That's
that,
what I'm
right?
saying.
This is what I think. Just still building the idea around this.
Yeah.
So, obviously, they have some kind of machine or something that allows for them to see ahead of time. This is how I look at it, because I also seen there's a patent for a camera that lets you take pictures of the future and past. This is just something that somebody invented on their own. Imagine what the government is doing. Okay, let's just put
Toying
that in
with
consideration.
crazy
Okay,
ideas.
Yeah.
now with that in consideration, why the question still remains: why would they show us? Right. So remember when Beatrice said something very interesting last show that kind of put a lot in perspective for me. Mm-hmm. Why it is that they do certain things to get you to go like play along with what they're putting out.
Oh yeah.
So that they can get away with what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
So you come to it.
Right, you'll come to it versus them having to draw you in. So now I feel like some of this is to draw people in so that they can continue doing what they're doing. For the audience that may not know, there's a law, like a spiritual law. Like if you do something bad, somebody's gonna come back to you. You know what I mean? But like but here's the thing: there's the loophole is if they willingly participate in what it is that you have going for them or whatever it is going on, then you kind of bypass some of that karma because they willingly participated in it. So it's almost to say like, if you got a gun in my head and I'm like, go ahead and pull the trigger, and I pull the trigger for you, you might avoid some of that karma because I literally I put my, you know what I mean?
Somewhat of that position.
Some of that in that position. I willingly put myself in that position. You didn't pull the trigger, I pulled the trigger type thing. So the willpower has a lot of power to it. And from what I'm seeing is that it's almost like they're using people's willpower against them so that the program continues. I'm still piecing this together to try to understand the root of it, because there's a reason they keep showing us truths, things that are true that we don't feel we're supposed to know, things that we think people are supposed to get killed for, but they show us. You know what I mean? Like there's something to that. Like it's a secret, but it ain't a secret.
Like I mentioned earlier, is that their way of mocking us?
It can't be, because then if it's their way of mocking us, what's the point of it, right?
Exactly.
I agree with that. Absolutely.
Right, there has to be a point.
He has a point. Well,
I say it's not.
It could be.
But I'm trying to figure out what's the point. Like if they're gonna mocking us, then why? Like what do they get out of that? You know what I mean?
I don't know, man. I feel they're so fucking wicked in the head, and they see how brainwashed that the people are and asleep they are, that they're just like throwing some shit out there.
Yeah.
You know
But
what I'm saying?
I would agree with you, but they're so calculated. I have a hard time thinking that they would just throw anything out there for the fuck of it, because they're so calculated. They're so calculated. They got their plan, their new world order planned out years and years and years ahead, as far as even when they're going to execute things and how they're going to do it, the social engineering aspect, all that. So I just be like, they do too much studying, and they got too many people, too much riding on this to just throw shit out. I feel like whenever they do something, it's for a real big reason, whether we realize it or not. You know what I mean? You have come on, you got Dick Gregory just telling all the secrets. You got Dave Chappelle just like this, and then I remember B.O.B. saying they don't. This is probably one of the most important things I heard one of them say. He said they don't give a fuck about you talking about these kind of things. They don't care. They don't really care
Not
that
anymore.
you know this. They don't care about nothing. With him saying that, it was like, really? So then what do they care about? What is their concern? What is the point of all this information being out there? Think about when the information of Illuminati came out.
Yeah.
Somebody let that happen. And I remember, you know what I mean? Somebody let that happen. And I remember a lot of those videos were like leading people to church and stuff like that. And a lot of people had like religious stuff at the end of it, or they were like religious sounding people preaching about it. And I'm like, Who is allowing this to happen, and why are they pointing their fingers all in the same direction? Like something isn't right. Something isn't right. Something isn't right.
It's because I feel it's because they've already completed what they needed to complete.
I was gonna go.
They're on their next level.
These guys are. Society's so asleep.
I agree with you.
At this point, that information can come out because the people who know are just the crazies, the conspiracy theorists, right? Is that kind of like what we're talking about here?
Yeah, Ricardo. It's sort of, but Ricardo he really brought that shit to another level, yo. That was big. That was big. Now say that again, yo, please.
Well, they basically they shut shit down. They shut shit down already in this realm, era, whatever you want to call it, and they're already preparing for the next level of what they are trying to push.
Whatever that
is. That's their format, though.
Yep.
If you really study this whole whatever Illuminati conspiracy, not just the government itself. That's how they move, bro. That's how they move. So
yo, that was big. That was big because see, I had a wild theory in my mind. I'm like, yo, what if all the senators and these people are just AI computers or just like stand-ins? You know what I mean? Like they're not even real people. They're just stand-ins. Like we think that they're some real government here, but really it's just.
Well, put it like this. You guys heard all the talk about them talking about trying to move to Mars and the moon and shit.
Right.
And what?
Right.
So what? All right. So y'all want to do all that? Y'all don't know what's up there, really. You know what I mean? So what's about to happen to the Earth?
Right.
Why are y'all leaving us here for dead? That's what I'm looking at.
I agree because see, all the presidents since the 60s or however long, they had doubles.
Yeah.
Doubles. Okay, aka clones. Now, if you have money and access to technology like they do on a government level, why wouldn't you get a clone and then escape? Mm-hmm. Have you and your whole family escape to some new world where you have all the resources and have access to everything, where everybody here is just fucked. They've already had movies about it, like you said. What was that movie? 2012.
Yeah, 2012.
2012, right? All the elite was trying to escape. Yep. It was a lot less advanced the idea that we're speaking on right now because they're in ships and shit. Like they don't have access to teleportation and all this other stuff. You know what I mean? They dumbed it down a lot. You know what I mean? But it's the same idea. The elite had a way to escape, and the rest of the world was fucked.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? It's so that was
and same shit with the music. Like and I'm gonna talk about hip hop right now, but I'm sure they did it with the genres rock and whatever R&B and pop and all that shit. Hip hop was always, when it first came out, typically it was very conscious, political. You had Fight the Power, you had the KRS-Ones and all that, and that wasn't healthy for them and what they was trying to do. So they needed to throw in, the bullshit artists, the coonery and all that. They needed to throw hip hop and get away from politics and talking about spirituality and uplifting your people and your community.
They don't want that.
Yeah, they don't want that.
They don't want that.
That opens your eyes. So what's the opposite of that? They're gonna they're gonna put you to sleep, and that's what they've been doing. You know what I mean? And that's just with the music. And then you got same thing with the movies. The movies these days, the effects and all that is dope, man. But a lot of the storylines are trash.
Yeah,
facts. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So they're it's like they're manipulating your mind with the flashy shit, but the real shit you're supposed to get from it, you're not getting. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. The storylines are trash, or they're just taking that same old story and repeating it and recycling it. And that, how many times have you seen one movie already remade? It's getting played and tired.
So that's what I feel is going on. Like they know once they reach a certain peak and a certain level, and they'll go to the next. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Same thing with. That's why I think they allowed a black president, not because Obama earned his way up there. We all know they put a strings to all that shit, but it was time to get to that next level. Because shit was getting real bad, racial tension when Obama came on, and I think that was kind of like something to just hush everybody out.
Yeah, shut the fuck up.
Calm it down for a couple of years.
Yeah, calm it down a little bit. Forget about all that shit.
But now we're at our all-time, we're boiling point now, almost, right?
Exactly. But this wouldn't. I don't think we'd ever even been able to get to this point if they probably didn't have Obama there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know.
Open the door.
I mean, we know Trump is there because they needed him to be there. So now, that's causing a lot of hysteria with all this racist shit and all that. So you know what? The next president is either going to be black again, Latino for the first Latino or the first women, just to get everybody's mind again off of the shit that's going on.
It's going to be some next
calm it down, and then they'll let that pass by. They'll do what they got to do underground. You know what I'm saying?
And continue this shit. Now think about it like this, right? To add this to the pot. What we would have had right now, Trump, if there was no Obama. Like, could we have a Trump going from Bush? You know what I mean?
I don't know. I don't think so.
You think they would have elected Trump from Bush?
Man, see me, I'm a believer in engineered by design. All this shit is designed already.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. I agree.
They
I
already,
agree.
it's all like that whole voting shit is to, again.
It's all.
They're on the next level, so they're like, let's make the people feel like they're voting, like
The
they have a
illusion
choice.
of choice.
Right.
But they know what. They
already got it mapped out.
They're
that's why I asked
playing chess.
And that's why I asked the question, because I'm like, just to further the point. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Just to further the point, like they planned it out. Like though Obama, it did good on some levels for like the way people think about themselves and other things going on. But the bigger picture is their agenda. You know what I mean? Because he's still in that system, and I think people forget that. Yes, he's a black man, but he's still a black man in that system.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? He can only do but so much. Like it's not like he's got all the keys. You know what I mean? Like
no, that he's being told what to do at some point.
Right. And just like all of them are, including Trump, and I don't think people are realizing that somebody's telling him what to do too.
And if you don't follow the trend, you get off. Back to the JFK days. There's this talk that he was on his own thing, trying to stop elite members of society from
having this kind of power.
And he was dumb.
And they silenced him.
They silenced him quick.
Real quick.
And his brother too, because his brother was going to do the same thing. And let's go a little deeper. His son was gonna get into that too. And then he not mysteriously, but he died in the plane crash.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
What was his father trying to do? Apparently, you could look up these documents. He was trying to take power back from the central banks.
Yeah, shut down the Federal Reserve.
Because the Federal Reserve, whoever doesn't know, isn't a U.S. bank. That's a private bank. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you brought this up on the show.
Not yet, but I definitely know.
You could definitely go that way, and just U.S. does not print its own money for people who don't know that. And that leads to a deeper rabbit hole.
And the Federal Reserve
and the control that these elite have over us. And
right.
And if you study it a little bit more, the Federal Reserve doesn't have backing. So basically,
no gold.
So basically, they're giving you all this money and shit, but there's nothing behind it.
It's not worth anything.
It's not worth anything. I mean, we knew that already, but not, like they literally don't.
They're printing paper.
Yeah,
is what they're doing. I believe it's like in the 70s. They stopped the dollar stopped being worth what it was in gold.
Right,
if you go to a bank,
gold or anything.
That's when they stopped that, and then now it's basically what they call the petrodollar. This is why we go on the war to these countries to take over these oil fields, and the world is forced to pay for oil in dollars. We've muscled everybody for that, and now these countries are getting hip to it and saying, no, we don't want to pay for oil in dollars. What's going to happen?
Exactly.
Our dollar's going to go to shit.
Yeah,
we're going to have a collapse here sooner or later. Something's going to go to shit here.
But let's get into that a little bit too. Go ahead, Bobby.
You know how Abraham Lincoln, right? He has a different color on his coin, right? And he's facing the other way.
Oh yes,
yes. The other presidents are facing that way.
Like they turned his back. They're back on him. Yeah.
And then they gave him the less percentage of the
monetary value.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're saying that's because I've read somewhere, it's here nor there. I mean, you research it, you think for yourself, but they're saying they did that because he helped free the slaves or give them books and all that, and so they turned their back on him.
I was say he was like part black or something.
He was part black too himself. But he also had his own slaves. He gave them books to read and shit like that. So I mean, people out there, check that out, man. Check it out for yourself. Google that.
You know what I want the listeners to check out too? It's on YouTube called "Death of the American Dream." It's about a 20-minute cartoon, but it's more about teaching you about the foul shit that's going on for dummies, breaking down, the Federal Reserve, the power of the elite, and how we're just getting fucked by the government financially. We're making just enough to get by, but not enough to get rich. The people who do make the big bucks, who's saving money these days? Everybody's blowing money left and right on
check to check.
Yes, and people who have shit, majority of the time it's on credit. So you really don't own shit. You owe it to somebody.
Right.
And this video is just like that, putting all that in
say the name one more time.
It's called "Death of the American Dream," and pretty much it's just how we live on credit and how banks just have us as their slaves. And I'm a big financial guy, and I call myself cheap. Hell yeah, I'm cheap. I watch my dollars, man. I work hard. I got a family to feed. I'm looking for few.
There's nothing wrong with budgeting.
I'm not about being the flashy guy and buying all that because I'm being told to, or that to me is just all nonsense.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
If that's your choice to live like that, God bless you. You know what I mean? I'm not necessarily throwing any shade at anybody, but if you just
wake the fuck up.
Yeah, wake up. Wake up, man. You're being.
We gotta throw shade sometimes, man. And I'm not saying you, but we have to let the people know how we feel.
Yes, I don't want it to be as shit. I want it to be like, yo, wake up, man. I'm not trying to throw shots at you because that's what you want to do, but you need to. Something needs to wake up here. You know what I mean? And just the way this is designed. Look at that. We pay for school to pay for. To get a job to pay for school.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Much, yeah.
And I'm seeing this with my oldest daughter who's getting ready to go to school. So you go to school, what do you get, a $100,000 loan? By the time you get out from the start gate in life, you're just getting started. You're already behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, way
if your mom and daddy isn't rich and paid for you.
Right.
Yeah, and not everybody's in that same position. Some people get grants and things like that, but that's not everybody.
Right, it's not a lot of people.
We're not all getting granted that luxury to start life ahead of everybody.
Right.
So think about that. Now you're 21, 22 when you graduate college. Is that right? Now you're $100,000 in debt. Now you got to get a job. That job is not going to pay you what you deserve because you haven't paid your dues yet. Now you got to go get an apartment. How much is an apartment these days? That shit.
Insurance, everything.
You're never. It's almost designed so you never get ahead of the game.
Nope.
And if you do make enough money to get ahead of the game, half the shit you're already spending because the more you make. The more they take, and the more you spend, because society's telling you spend.
Yep.
You need $1 million house, but no, you need this.
Right. You are absolutely right.
You'd be surprised how many people, because it's not what you make, it's what you got. I honestly believe that.
It's true.
Yeah, I've seen people who have $1 million houses and this and that don't got a penny in the bank. They're living, and I've seen the janitor from a school be worth almost $1 million in the bank, put kids through college, just living humbly. It's not what you make, it's what you keep at the end of the day.
Priority.
And the more you make, like you said, the more they take and the more you spend. Because you just think, I got more money. I can buy, I don't need to buy this Honda. I need to buy this new Benzo.
But again, Billy, engineered by design is designed that way.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm putting this out there because I don't know how many people or how many shows or anybody brought this up, just trying to throw that out there to the people, man.
This is all good.
These are things that people need to realize are happening. You're being played and you're being told to buy and spend. And, one of the biggest scams in life for me is Christmas.
Yeah.
How many people kill themselves to buy gifts for family that they're going to play with for 2 or half or a month and then forget about it. Yeah. And these it's crazy to me.
Not only that, let's get it. How about those Walmart videos where you got people trampling each other?
Yeah.
It's got people so desensitized that people are ready to kill themselves. They'll beat each other up, jump over boxes and aisles and shit, and get beat up by the cops for acting
for a TV that's not going to be worth anything in like another 6 months.
Right.
That's how sick and we become. That I blame the people for not being awake, but they're doing a hell of a good job in programming us, man. It's bad and it's sad. It's sad to watch.
It is, man.
Yeah, man.
It is, because especially if 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 you give a fuck, period, or being an empath like we spoke about, when you feel a lot of shit, man. But I think overall, period, like just watching people fucking lower themselves and beat each other and degrade themselves and disrespect themselves. Like, there's no more value, bro. There's no more.
We don't value life. We don't value life.
Nah, there's no more respect or value left, man. And that shit is sad, man. And it's one of the reasons, I wanted to do this, so we could actually bring people up that do have value, that do have talent, to let the world know that it's not just some motherfucker with a tattoo on his face and Skittles in his mouth talking shit out there that are, doing things. It's people like us. You know what I'm saying? It's people like us. It's people like Ricky coming up. I'm trying to show him that, you see all that shit on TV. You see all that online, but there's this. this is what's real. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead. You were gonna
Oh
say-
yeah, and like the cops, they have like nothing to do with themselves. They just wanna put all their anger on people. Like,
a lot of
like,
them with the
yeah.
stuff. Oh, he means like because I show him all the stuff that happens with the videos with these people getting shot and beat up because I'm teaching him raw. Like, ain't no Santa Claus, ain't none of that. Like he know for a long time. I told him, yo, look, ain't no Santa Claus, Billy. Ain't no Santa Claus. Your mother and father busted their ass to give you these presents.
All damn
and I
near.
taught him that.
All my kids
From the
all my
get go,
kids know.
you know what I'm saying? And some people be like, oh, how can you do that? His innocence. Nah, man, I'm not gonna lie. You're killing his innocence even
By
more.
lying,
You're
yeah.
stunting his growth.
Yeah, you're basically
You're stunting
feeding
his
him
growth.
the line that they're feeding, all these adults.
You're continuing the bullshit.
Now,
Yep.
you're a young mind. How are you? 14?
12.
12. Okay.
He's a big boy.
Now, I'm going to put you on the spot here for a second. Are you finding it hard? Your dad is definitely putting you in the right track, putting you on the right track and showing you these great things, which I think is amazing. Now you're seeing this world in school where these kids are following these trends, and are you feeling that pressure, or what's the word I'm looking for? Not the temptation, but the the peer pressure to follow that lead or play, or you were like, that's whack, man, because my dad's teaching me. What's going on there? Because I'm fighting that battle with my daughter and my little one too.
It's like half and half. Like, he's teaching me the good things. My friends are like teaching me the bad things, and like I'm trying to follow his side, not the bad things. Doing people goading me to like do bad things. Like, he tells me every day, if you like play with your friends outside, they don't, what's it called?
You mean when I tell you go out and play and have a good time, but just behave, just don't do nothing dumb.
Yeah, don't,
Like pressure.
yeah.
And when I say those pressure, they kind of I hate to say the word bullying because that's overused in my opinion these days.
It is.
But that pressure to not be the corny kid or whatever. It's got to be hard for the kids these days, especially like somebody who you're teaching your son the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say your friends are teaching you bad. They're just teaching you what they know and what they think is the trends that they're following. Pretty much, let's just say
that's
that.
That's what he meant too.
I know. I that's what I get from it.
And I had problems in school with this kids in my class.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. But if I could give you some advice, keep that mind and keep moving forward. You're gonna hear negativity. It's just about staying your course, right? And you know what it is. I just wanted to pick your brain about that and I want the listeners to hear this because this is happening with our listeners' kids and stuff like that. That we gotta buy our kids these Jordans because some kid said something that stuff to me is whack, man.
Yeah, it is.
It's so whack, but it's so hard with
All
fighting
these
that
kids.
battle in these school systems now. And
I tell you this much, man: the kids that you're dealing with that give other kids problems, they're just most of the time a reflection of their parents.
Yeah.
And then their parents, most of the time, unfortunately, are abusing these kids.
Yes.
Or neglecting them. Mm-hmm. One or the other. A lot of the times, unfortunately, there's a lot of trauma. And if it's not that, it's like trauma, like, stuff that they might have went through as a family or, death in the family or just someone that's not there. And it's affecting that child. And then he comes to that school and lets whomever have it.
yeah,
And that's their way of having some form of control. Because, being able to control things gives you a sense of control in your own life. Makes you feel like, I have a form of control in my life and in the area, at least one area. You know what I mean? Some people, they'll take control in your life just to feel like they have control, period.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If they feel like they can.
Yeah, there is one person in my class that does that, and he just thinks he's all right. He thinks he's cool, being like what he wants to be.
I'll tell you a secret. He don't feel that way.
Yeah.
It's what he want y'all to feel about him.
absolutely.
He don't feel that way about himself inside. I guarantee you.
Because he wouldn't be doing that if he felt all right.
Right,
Yeah, he knows
right.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah. But a lot of kids are going through that, and that's where the bullying stuff goes.
And not just me. Thousands, millions of kids.
All over.
Oh yeah, all over the place.
like we discussed earlier, everybody's just mad. Everybody's angry.
There's a lot going on to make people angry. I can see why, but it's all about how you handle it.
Yeah, well, we've been desensitized to be, almost like, I don't want to say animals, but just like, it's get. It's a capitalistic system, man.
Absolutely.
Get. If you don't got, you ain't shit. Or if you got this, you need more. Like you were saying earlier. So, it's we're in a bad place, man. There's a lot of, look, the world's a beautiful place, but it's ugly as fuck too, man.
It can be great.
You know what I mean? It depends on perspective, because there's days I wake up and I feel like shit, and I will never put my negative energy out to the world or nobody, but I feel that way. There's days I wake up and I'm.
We're human, man. It happens. That's part of life too.
Yeah, so
just about recognizing that, in my opinion, and knowing what to do with that energy.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the biggest things, man. Recognizing that still lets you know that you're fucking human.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? Because
it keeps you grounded. It keeps you grounded. Also, I mean,
shit,
it's about knowing yourself, and that's half the battle right there every day, man.
Yeah, man. Because I'm a happy-go-lucky guy. I try to do a lot of positive shit. I take my pictures. I'm smiling, but I just don't share my battles that I go through. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel not that I just don't want to put it on nobody. You know what I mean? I don't want nobody to feel bad for me because I'm always trying to inspire. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
now watch this, right? I just put a post up that addresses that very thing. It went to the effect of something like this. I said something like this. Try to get it word for word. Don't let the expectation of being strong prevent you from getting the help you need to be whole.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
I saw that.
And a lot of us deal with that because we are strong people and leaders in our own right, in our own families, in our own friends, in our own circles.
Yeah.
So it's almost expected for us not to have weak moments or not to have moments where we might need an ear or need to like be mad for a moment and express it, and you know what I mean? Like it's not expected for us to have those moments. But like Royster 5'9" said, always check up on your strong friend. You know what I mean? And you gotta realize that, shit, you know what I mean? Like if I'm gonna feel this way, I need to acknowledge it and do something about it versus like I'm just gonna suppress this shit because no one's gonna care about you enough to really deal with it. Like, you know what I mean? And it's unfortunate. No one, like our wives, our kids, they're not going to be able to carry us out of our own pain if we don't acknowledge it enough first. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
interesting.
It's real. Like if I'm in a pissy mood and I'm around my wife and she asks me what's wrong and I'm like, I'm straight. You know what I mean? She can't help me. I just put a wall up. She can't do shit.
Yeah.
Now she asks me later on, you sure you're all right, babe? Yeah, I'm good. She might have had the words to then shift my perspective.
Or energy,
right, if I shared it. And then sometimes, shit, if you shift the perspective of somebody, you're going to shift the energy. You know what I mean? You shift the way somebody sees it, it shifts what they're going to do and how they feel about it. You know what I mean? So sometimes it's necessary in those moments to just be like, it's not weak that I'm saying that I'm dealing with this. It's actually strong that I'm saying that I'm dealing with this because now I can do something about it and deal with it head on. And it's not weak to... It's not weak to be that way, you know what I mean? But I understand. I completely get it, though.
Yeah.
The idea behind it, because even in my position, I'm a healer. So right now, I got a little cold. You know what I mean? Like, it's not expected that a healer is going to be fucking sick at all, have a cold or anything. But I get colds, too. You know what I'm saying? I get headaches sometimes. You know what I mean? It happens, Sometimes I got to do things for myself to take care of myself, too, to balance my own thing that I got going on or whatever, while helping other people to balance their thing. Because there's another misconception that I want to address, and then I'm gonna be quiet and continue.
You good, man?
That you can't help people unless you are at like your potential or your peak, or at a certain place of healing. Then you can help people. I don't agree with that at all because I found my healing path while I was paralyzed from the legs down. I couldn't really move. You know what I mean? I'm crawling around the house, but I'm doing healing work with people that are coming to the house. So I was moving in my purpose before I became whole. You know what I mean? Ricardo, he was doing clothing before he got to this point in his life. Before he got to where other areas in his life was whole, he was doing this. And he started the path. You know what I mean? So, and he was already selling certain things here and there. Might not be on this level, but you was making your moves. So I feel like everybody should already be moving in their purpose on some level and shouldn't wait until like a certain point to do that, because
And that's important because there's a lot of people that don't.
lots of people.
And I don't want to call it just procrastination, but it's just people that don't believe in their own dreams, or and that's something sad, man. It's wasted talent, man.
Oh yeah.
What did Robert De Niro tell his son Colodro in Bronx Tale, man? One of the
best movies ever, man.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite movies. One of the worst things, or one of the saddest things in life is wasted talent.
Facts.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, man.
Facts.
So that's true, man. But believe it or not, an hour and a half, man.
I knew, I feel like this is
An hour and a half. Yeah, going in, man. But
that's what's up.
let's a couple more minutes, man, because I just wanted to. We kind of shied away from the music real early, but I knew this was gonna happen with this show because Billy's like-minded. You know what I mean? And like he said earlier, we get into our discussions, and sometimes we agree, sometimes we don't agree.
Absolutely.
And I knew it was gonna shift this way, but I want to kind of shift back into the music, man. Sure. Just kind of tell the people what you have. What are your plans, man? Where do you see yourself, like, let's say in the next 10 years, with what you're trying to do? Are you let's say trying to keep DJing? Are you trying to start your own label or DJ crew, or there's so many things that people
in all honesty, with me getting older and stuff like that, my future thoughts are kind of to not get away from it completely, but take it down to more of a private event type of stuff.
Turn it down a notch.
Yeah, because I have to start also dedicating more time with my family.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that there's a price to pay for everything, right? I've had what I like to think of as success with what I do. But it's also come at a price of not being at family functions. Yeah. Weekends are always just, this is where it comes in when wifey was being super supportive. She's dealt with a lot of time just at home with the kids. And trust me, I make it up in ways of like.
Shout out to wifey.
Where I make it up to her in ways of like in the family, not just her, the family, but in forms of vacations. When we go out, we go out. I gotta make that up. You know what I mean?
Like listen,
but
I love you.
the plans are to kind of take my foot off the gas a little bit. I also, I have my regular career as well. That's not just DJing. So
What's your regular career?
I manage properties for the state of Connecticut. So I for the DOT. So I do Bridgeport, Fairfield train stations and things like that. So I'm the property manager there, and they move me around to other places as well. So that's my day. That's day bill, and then night bill. It's like it's an alter ego, man. I got like two. It feels sometimes like I have two different lives, man, because I have this,
different lives. Absolutely.
But I have career 1, career 2, and then I'm a family man that I have to be there for and things of that nature. So it's a tough balance. It's draining, completely draining.
The family alone can be draining.
I'm here, bloodshot red eyes, and tired, but I gotta be there. At the end of the days, I can't just be selfish and sleep my days away, and gotta keep that energy up for the fam, man. It's key. Moving forward, the plan is to slow away from that and stay on the private events and I would like to get more into. And honestly, this kind of stuff I love, man. This would be that's something. That's a pipe dream for me right now. But just talking.
It's not a pipe dream if you put some time into it.
Very true. Very true. One of the biggest things that I've gotten really well over the years was public speaking. So now that thing just comes natural to me. I can get in front of people.
I couldn't tell you had a problem with public speaking.
I'm sorry?
I wouldn't know you.
Oh man, listen, I wouldn't say 3 words on a mic when I first started this thing.
Next, move the mic closer to me a little bit.
You can hear me? Sorry.
No, it's because it sounded a little faded.
But that's one of the things that I got mostly out of this, my public speaking and my confidence dealing with, multiple people at the same time.
That was big for me too, like public speaking. Because I, not to cut you off, but I do a lot of stuff with the kids. And,
I seen. Yeah.
That was,
presentations and things like that.
Man.
Yeah.
Even when we used to do poetry, like when I first used to go to open mic show, I used to love writing and reciting it in the mirror and shit. But when that 8 mile,
shit gets real when that light is on your face, man. I mean, I went. You know how MCing and stuff goes, especially at private events. You got to announce wedding parties.
Yeah.
I was horrible. Thank God nobody has video of that stuff when I first started. Just,
You know what? DJ Stutter said the same thing, man. We spoke about that on the show, if you remember.
but now, give me the mic. You can't shut me up in front of people, and it's a confidence thing, you know.
Yeah.
It's like when you gotta, and part of it is just not just knowing you have it, but just believing you have it, and it comes to flourish, you know, and it's there. So that's. In my future, I could see myself doing something like this, or
Do it, man. This is so therapeutic, bro. Like,
I believe so. I'm starting to get into it. In the beginning, you know, I remember I did the podcast with Stutters. I want to say almost a year ago. So nervous because I was just like, holy cow, you know, I've never been around this kind. Today, you got the lights, the cameras.
Yeah.
In the beginning, I was a little kind, but then, you know, I forgot. You know, when you got into your stuff, we just got into actual deep conversation, which is great. I mean. You can't beat that, and then you just forget that there's even cameras.
You forget
here.
that there's cameras, there's a mic.
yeah.
You forget that we're doing a show.
Absolutely.
Time goes away. Everything goes
Yep.
away. You know?
Same
does.
thing with me. We have like the same thing in common.
Yeah.
Like I was shy too.
Yeah, he was his first show. He actually spoke more this show than the other
It
show.
can be it can be nerve wracking and scary because you're when you start thinking about who's listening to this and what you know what are people, you know, we were self conscious. Well, what are they gonna think about me, or what do I say, and things like that. But man, just gotta keep positive and know you got it, man.
Let it go.
So that's dope, man. I know Ricky wanted to say something. Did you want to say something?
Oh yeah. What is one of the most favorite tracks that you ever scratched on in your DJ career?
Scratch, I can't say it's too much scratch. I'm not much of a scratch DJ.
Oh.
I'm more of a blend DJ. I do baby scratch and things like that. But one of my favorite tracks that I can play with, goodness, it's gonna sound so cliche and so corny, but that Juicy Biggie track, I drop it with a baby scratch in there, and it's like that's always a bang. It's so cliche, I know, but and he kind of caught me off guard too. But that's the one track that I know that I could always go to get to something like that. But yeah, that's something definitely that.
Good question.
You can't caught me on my toes a little bit. I wasn't ready for that.
Leave it there. All right, man. Well, Billy, man, listen, man. Thank you for coming, man. It was a great show, man. I knew it was gonna, go. It was
glad
gonna
you guys
get
think
real
so.
crazy, but man, I'm happy with it, the turnout, and I'm glad he was here. Ricky was here to be a part of it, and man, just thank you, man. Thank you for coming up, and I just want to wish you good luck in everything you do as far as your businesses and your DJ and all that, because you're already doing your thing, man.
Appreciate that.
And actually, one more time. Oh, actually, you didn't even do it. Just shout out your social media so the people know where to go.
Yeah, on IG, hit me up at DJ Billy the Kid, and the is THA. And Facebook, my name, Bill Aguirre, Aguirre. Look me up on there. That's pretty much what I really toy with, and in the Snapchats and stuff I'm not really big on.
Yeah, me neither.
But yeah, you can hit me up on there, and thank you guys. Like I told you in the start of the show, this show is awesome.
Thanks,
Keep
man.
doing your thing. Keep
you, brother.
informing people. I love how you're changing it up with different guests and things of that nature.
Yeah.
And I just wish you guys, the best on this endeavor, man. Keep this up, man. And hopefully I can come back
No, definitely.
down the road and
That's what I was gonna say. Absolutely.
I'll definitely take on that invite and just go down the rabbit hole even deeper with you guys, man.
Yeah.
Many rabbit holes to go down.
Yeah, we didn't even scratch the surface of the shit we could talk about, man. But we definitely got into some shit
Yeah, we
though.
did. Like,
So
we scratched the
we'll have a
surface a
lot.
little bit.
Yeah, we'll have a lot of a lot more dope conversations when you come back, man. So
Yeah, and if the listeners out there, man, if they have any feedback and you get anything, I would love to see.
yeah, man. That's what we're waiting for, man. Like, there's a lot of people out there that they fake the funk. They'll be like, oh, we got an email and it's a fake. I don't want to do that. I want to wait till we get a real email and real listeners, like either agreeing with something or just hearing their feedback or giving ideas, and we're gonna read it on the show.
That'd be the best
Yeah.
next step, because
Yeah.
that's just somebody's other opinion that maybe they can't be here physically,
Yeah.
but that we can now.
They care enough.
I'm saying I'm gonna be here every week. now.
I want
You
to do
guys-
it. I want to do it organic. I want to do it right. And real quick, just so the people that do want to do that, you could hit us up on email. It's backyardmeccashow@gmail.com. Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter is Backyard Mecca. I think we're gonna wrap it up, man. Unless somebody has anything else to say. Everybody good?
Much love to y'all.
Yeah, man. So listen, man. Interwebliens, thank you again for coming up to the show, man. It was number 11. And listen, next week we have a Kundalini Buddha coming from New Jersey, which is gonna be another dope show, man. So please tune in. Please tune in. Please tune in. It was another dope show. Peace, 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 peace.
Peace out. Thanks.
Interwebliens.